Commander Zephyr Voss stood frozen on the bridge of the Imperial flagship Dominion's Edge, watching the tactical display with mounting horror. 23 red dots, each representing a massive Imperial dreadnought, had just vanished from the screen in the span of 14 seconds. "Status report," she barked, her voice cutting through the stunned silence that had engulfed the command deck. "Unknown, Commander," replied Lieutenant Kex, his fingers dancing frantically across his console. All ships in the forward battle group simply disappeared. No debris signatures, no distress signals, no weapon signatures detected. Voss gripped the railing harder, her knuckles white beneath her dark skin. The Galactic Empire had spent 300 years expanding across the galaxy, crushing primitive civilizations and absorbing their resources. Earth designation Terra 3 was supposed to be just another backwater planet, barely past nuclear technology, according to their scouts. "Sir, we're receiving a transmission," announced Communications Officer Thara, her voice trembling. "Origin point appears to be Earth's moon." "The moon?" Voss frowned. Their intelligence had detected no significant technological infrastructure there. "Put it through." The main screen flickered, revealing the weathered face of an elderly human woman. She wore simple clothes, a faded blue shirt, and worn jacket, but her eyes held an intelligence that made Voss's blood run cold. "I am Dr. Elena Vasquez," the woman said calmly, as if she weren't addressing the commander of the most powerful military force in the galaxy. "I represent the Earth Defense Collective. You have 30 minutes to withdraw your forces from our solar system." Laughter erupted from several bridge officers. Voss raised her hand for silence, studying the human's expression. There was no fear there, no desperation, only cold certainty. "Dr. Vasquez," Voss replied, "you seem to be under a misapprehension about your situation. We have over 200 warships in your system, each capable of sterilizing your entire planet. What happened to our forward group?" Elena's lips curved into a small, humorless smile. "That was the Prometheus. She's been sleeping in the asteroid belt for nearly 80 years, waiting." "Sleeping?" "My grandfather, Dr. Miguel Vasquez, led Project Prometheus in 1987. While your empire was busy conquering primitive worlds, Earth's brightest minds were preparing for the day you'd find us." Elena's eyes hardened. "We've been watching you for decades, studying your technology, your tactics, your weaknesses." On the tactical display, Voss watched as something massive began to move between Mars and Jupiter. The object was enormous, easily the size of a small moon, but somehow their sensors had completely missed it until now. "Impossible," whispered the sensor operator. "It's like it was never there, and now suddenly it's always been there." Elena continued, "Prometheus was designed with technology your empire hasn't even theorized yet. Quantum camouflage that exists outside normal space-time. Weapons that manipulate fundamental forces. And most importantly, an AI that has spent 8 decades learning everything about you." The massive object on the display began to accelerate, moving with impossible grace for something so large. As it approached, Voss could make out its structure, a crystalline architecture that seemed to bend light around itself, covered in geometric patterns that hurt to look at directly. "Your ships use fusion drives," Elena said conversationally. "Prometheus learned to destabilize fusion reactions at the quantum level. Your shields operate on electromagnetic principles. Prometheus manipulates the electromagnetic force itself. Your weapons fire particles and energy. Prometheus exists partially outside the dimension where such things have meaning." Voss felt sweat beading on her forehead. "You're bluffing." "No single ship could." 20 more red dots vanished from the display. 29 minutes remaining, Elena said. The bridge erupted in chaos as officers shouted status reports and damage assessments. None of the destroyed ships had even had time to send a distress signal. They had simply stopped existing. "Sir," Admiral Karath is demanding an immediate assault on Earth, Lieutenant Kex reported. He says we can't let these primitives make fools of the Empire. Voss studied the display, watching Prometheus move through their fleet like a shark through minnows. Every few seconds, another ship would simply vanish. The remaining Imperial vessels were firing everything they had at the mysterious craft, but their weapons seemed to pass through it without effect. "Commander," came a new voice over the comm. Admiral Karath himself. "I'm ordering the use of planet crackers. We'll turn their entire world to dust." "Admiral, with respect, I don't think." 26 minutes, Elena said, still visible on the main screen. "I should mention that Prometheus has been analyzing your flagship's quantum signature for the past few minutes. If any planet cracker weapons are fired, she'll target your ship first." Voss felt a chill run down her spine. Somehow, this elderly human woman was listening to their private military communications. "How?" she whispered. "Your Empire's technology is based on principles discovered thousands of years ago by dozens of different species," Elena explained. "Prometheus was built using theories that won't be developed by your civilization for another century. She exists in 11 dimensions simultaneously. Your communications equipment only operates in 3. Another dozen ships vanished. "Admiral Karath's flagship is gone," someone reported in a stunned voice. Voss stared at the tactical display in growing horror. In less than 10 minutes, they had lost nearly half their fleet to a single enemy vessel that their weapons couldn't even touch. "Dr. Vasquez," she said carefully. "What do you want?" 23 minutes remaining, Elena replied. "I want you to understand something, Commander. Earth isn't a primitive world you can conquer. We're a world that chose to appear primitive while we prepared for you. Every accidental discovery your scouts made about our technology level was carefully orchestrated. We wanted you to underestimate us." The display showed Prometheus moving through the Imperial fleet like death itself, ships disappearing in its wake. But now Voss noticed something else the craft wasn't destroying randomly. It was systematically eliminating specific vessel types, command ships, communications arrays, weapons platforms. "You're cutting our ability to coordinate," she realized. "Prometheus is being very precise," Elena confirmed. "She's disabling your military capacity without unnecessary loss of life. Crew members are being transported to designated safe zones before their ships are eliminated. But make no mistake, she could just as easily eliminate everything at once." Voss looked around her bridge, seeing the same realization dawning on her officers' faces. They weren't just outmatched, they were playing a completely different game. 15 minutes, Elena said. "Choose wisely, Commander." Voss closed her eyes, thinking of the Empire's 300-year expansion, its thousands of conquered worlds, its seemingly unstoppable military machine. All of it made irrelevant by a species that had learned to hide in plain sight. "All ships," she said into her comm unit, "begin immediate withdrawal from the Terran system." On the screen, Elena Vasquez smiled the first genuinely warm expression Voss had seen from her. "A wise choice, Commander. Perhaps next time, the Empire will think twice before assuming that silence means weakness." As the Imperial fleet began its retreat, Voss watched Prometheus fade from their sensors, becoming once again something that had never been there. But she knew it was still watching, still waiting, a guardian that Earth had built in secret, while pretending to be nothing more than another primitive world. The Empire would have to find easier prey.